talk to Shani anytime. It doesn't matter day or night, but Shani, giving you light and love. We're coming on without a doubt. There's nothing you can't talk about, Shani. Get ready to start the show. You're on with Shani and you know we're gonna talk. Ordinary people and extraordinary God. Check the reference in Ephesians 5. We walking in the light and we're living in love. You know with Shani we gon' keep it intact. Cause every Monday got it coming. Yeah, we coming right back. So act like you know we get it on and poppin' at the Shani Show. You can talk to Shani anytime. It doesn't matter day or night. Shani, we're giving you light and love. We're coming on without a doubt. There's nothing you can't talk about with Shani. Welcome to another episode of the Sharing with Shani show. And I know you can't see my face right now because I'm trying to make sure that we are all on speaker view because I want to make sure we're all on gallery view because I don't like speaker view. It looks really bad when I try to chop up the video to create reels and everybody's laughing, but you can only see one person. That really bothers me. Mika's in the building. I thought you were going to be late. You wasn't late. You was right on time. Got Mika in the building. I got Montoya in the building, and we are ready to get started. I was telling Mika before you came on, when we did our little pre-show, I was telling Montoya, I'm so glad to see a woman for Women's History Month. The men never book, and then they decide to take up March.
Yeah, I noticed. I mean, but you can fix that though.
Yes. So I could have, because I am in charge. It is my show. So it's all good. How are you? How was your week?
I'm well. It was crazy.
I see you're still working out. That's good.
Yep.
Consistency is half of the battle. Would you say yes or no to that?
I think that's all of it.
Oh, really?
For me anyway. It's easy to start. It's not always easy to continue.
That is so true.
Yeah.
You gotta finish what you started though.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. Do you remember the wellness whisper for last week?
Not at all.
I thought we were staying in the same. Oh, my video is still off. My bad. Hey, girlfriend.
Yeah, that was weird, just so you know.
What?
He's talking to your picture.
And it's funny, you were talking to my picture, but on Facebook, it doesn't even show it.
Really?
Yes.
Oh. Yeah, it was weird.
It was like, was I like the voiceover, like in Big Brother?
Something like that.
Whoa, it's too funny. I thought we were staying in the same space with I can't remember. The same space with, I put it in the, let me make sure, because I posted it last week.
Okay.
So
I probably knew it before I logged on, and then I just, forgot.
Thanks for coming on the show. Thanks so much, Willie T. Montgomery Jr., for coming on the show tonight. We are still working through the whisper from Mika. It's not the time to be wasting time.
Okay, there we go.
that was not that. I thought it was going to take forever because sometimes I'd be on posting rants and it'd be so far down. But
Yeah,
apparently it was a slow week last week.
good. That's good. It was weird though. It's like you said that felt like it was 2 Mondays ago and not last Monday. That's why I was like, I don't
Yeah.
know. Last
That
Monday seemed like it was very far away.
yes. Yeah. It's that time to be wasting time. I feel that.
Yeah. Let me go
I
on.
feel that because okay, so the weather has broken. We are in spring, and
Uh,
I know we talked about this. Didn't we talk about this like last week that you were like, we don't really get a swing. We literally do not get a
right.
spring here.
Yeah, this is
So soak in.
it.
So we're in the DMV, Montoya. Montoya is all the
Come
way.
to Mississippi. Come to Mississippi.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
We experience all the seasons year round.
I
so
heard
yeah.
that.
So I don't know. Do you get allergies, Mika?
My eyes get itchy. And it just depends. Most of the time, no, like 98% of the time, no. When I do get them, I know that my diet has been off. So
Okay.
I don't normally suffer. When I do suffer, it's very, very itchy eyes. Every now and then I will do the sneezing thing, but that's usually like if I'm mowing the lawn. I think when I tested, I did an allergy test with my daughter to see, what was going on. Cause there was this one time we were both of us, I want to say she was probably like 4. So this was her second one and my first one. Both of us would wake up just sneezing like crazy. And I was like, maybe there's mold in the house, I was just trying to figure it out. But yeah, nothing really showed, but they was like, I might have a sensitivity to tree pollen, and my street is lined with like the worst trees ever. Like all the top 100 tree allergens are all on my street. I have like 20 different species of trees on my street, and they all give off really bad pollen. Like my car is covered in yellow right now.
So my best friend has severe allergies.
Yeah. I don't
Um,
I'm glad I don't. It's horrible.
yeah, she's had them since I can remember. When I
Mhm.
met her, we were 7. I don't know. Our prom night, she thought it was going to be a good idea to go to a prom party in the middle of the woods.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We get excited sometimes when we forget about stuff.
Do you remember? You remember the episode of Martin when he was fighting and did the boxing match and he got beat up?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's how her face
Yeah.
looked.
That's not right.
I'm so serious. That is how her face looked. Literally 15 minutes after we got to this party.
Oh
Her
my gosh.
so like, she's like, I have to go home. I don't know why I decided to do this. Like, first of all, I was only going because I didn't want to be the lame person that went straight home, but I just really
Okay.
but why it was a whole bonfire, supposed to be this outdoor thing. I'm not an outdoorsy person. I
Mhm.
prefer to have my parties indoors.
I hear you.
They went to go get firewood. Next thing I know, like she came out the room looking like Martin. It
Poor
was
thing.
curtains. Poor
Yeah,
thing.
it's okay. I'm glad she had a friend.
Right.
You said Martin. I was watching Martin last night. Season 2, I think it's episode 2.
Huh?
Man of the Year award. Tisha Campbell should have won the best everything award for that one episode.
Is that when she had the headboard stuck in her head?
No, that's the one where
Uh,
Martin was going for his high school reunion and he was, wanting to win the Man of the Year award. So he sent her to get um to the spa
Oh,
and the dentist.
and she got allergic reaction. Yes.
To the avocado mace. She should have won every award possible for that one episode because that was hilarious. I was laughing so hard, and then I rewinded it and watched it again and laughed again. That I forgot how much I enjoyed that episode, and I believe it was like my favorite one. So when you said that, that's kind of the one that I thought about.
Right.
She, her face was all like blotchy and swollen.
Yeah. I mean, you could go either one. She either looked like Tisha Campbell or she looked like Martin. I'm going with Martin because her face was so. She was. I'm glad. I didn't say her name though, right?
No, you didn't.
I just said my best friend. Okay. Know who it is. She always watched the show on the replay. So, and it's so funny because this is what she'll do. She'll watch the show like on the weekend, drinking her tea, and she'll just start texting.
Yeah.
Random things that, especially what you say. Like, and then I gotta go in my mind, because this is 5 days later. Stuff be moving. Y'all see how if you follow me on social media, you see how my mind works. I go from one extreme to the other, right? Like any given day. And so I'm like, oh yeah, she's watching the show.
Well, at least she supports. I think that's amazing.
That is awesome. Oh, thank you. Mike Rose is in the building, watching the show, saying the Rosenboroughs are here.
Yep.
Amen to that.
They just celebrated an anniversary.
Yeah. Brian Walker.
Yeah,
oh my goodness. So I'm about to put the homie on the spot because you are from New Jersey. Okay. So I put a post on IG. I was going to save this, but it's too far. Like I was going to save this because we're about to do this. I can't really talk about it, but we're about to do something on IG in the summer. Okay. So when we go on hiatus, right? And I was like, this would be a good topic for that show. Mm-hmm. But I got to bring it up now because he got me second guessing my childhood, right?
Oh, okay.
So I put a picture of us on IG, and I was talking in New York slang. Yes. So he was like, "You made a mistake in the caption. It's not word is born." But Mika, we were saying that in New York. Word is born. We were saying word is born in New York. Were y'all saying it in New Jersey?
Yes and no. Yes. The answer is yes.
I thought so. I had to really think about it. I'm like, because I am closer to 50. Mm-hmm. And
he's saying you were saying it wrong, right?
Because he was saying this word is bond.
Bond, yeah.
And that is the common term. Yeah. But New Yorkers at one point was saying word is born.
Word is born, son.
Yes.
Yes.
But I didn't have any backup. So I was like, you're right. And I went and changed it.
Yeah.
Either one works. But I was really trying to be New York in the post.
Gotcha.
I was trying to be DC. Even though I've been in DC for a long time.
Yeah.
Trying to be New York.
Don't let them DCians make you forget where you came from. Yeah, word is born. I was like a whole grown up when I realized it should have been word is born, but I was like, whatever, word is born, yo. That's Jersey, yo. We put our own spin on it. This word is born, son.
Right.
That's how you got to do it. It's just like, whatever.
That's too funny.
You said it wrong. Who posted this? It's my post. I say the way I want to say it.
No, I feel like he was protecting me because some people have you out
come
here
at you. Yeah.
Keeping, calling you out on the comment and stuff. I like people that be like, Shani, proofread your post.
Send you a little message like, hey, you got the wrong 2 in there. Oh, I've been seeing a lot of that this week. Well, it's only Monday, so it's a whole lot. They be like, oh, I miss you too, TWO. No, you don't. Not at all. You don't miss me too.
TWO, not T.
I'll say it could be autocorrect too, because sometimes, Siri got a little attitude and she just be loud and wrong. That's what I like to tell her.
Rayana,
you were loud and wrong.
Rayana asked me the other day. Well, no, it was a couple hours ago. See, I don't have no concept of time. I thought 3 hours ago was the other day.
Okay.
That's where
it's a long day for you, huh?
Yeah, it's a Monday. She was like, what? She says, we're so nerdy over here. She says, what misspelled word just grinds your gears?
Which one is it?
I don't really have a misspelled word per se, but that then and then thing.
Yeah.
Because isn't one a verb and one a preposition? I'm just asking. I think it is.
Well, which one is the verb?
Then. Yeah.
You mean an adjective?
Or an adverb. Is it an adverb?
Okay, that one sounds better.
Right.
I forgot. I know. That's a tricky one. That's one of the ones you had to just memorize because it didn't make sense. Adverbs have ly on it. And does not. All them tricks. My daughter is learning that stuff now. And I'd be like, all right, let me give you some tricks so you can remember. But yeah, you always have those exceptions where you just got to memorize them.
So the one that she does not like, the one that grinds her gears all up, is angle and angel.
Yep.
So I thought
throws off the whole meaning.
It's two different words.
Yeah. I think it's an autocorrect thing.
Oh.
I know. There and there. Yes, Yena.
Yena.
There and there.
It's Yena.
Yena. Yes, Yena.
Tim says, can we talk about the wonderful jacket you are wearing? I am wearing Sima Sienna. I should know this because they sent me the jacket. I'm supposed to promote it.
Go check your notes.
Sima Sienna. This is why I need a production assistant. But more so. Dang, I forgot what I was getting ready to say. Oh, she said, Yenna said there and there. Oh, yeah, we've been talking about there and there for the
That's a big one.
That is
I just need the subject verb agreement. You know what I'm saying? Like, you understand what I'm saying? If it's a singular subject, I need it to be a singular verb. When people add S's on things that don't belong, it really does bother me.
Listen,
it does.
It's not mices.
Mine.
It's not mices. It's not. You know what? You know what grinds my gears? More better.
Oh, or worser, or worser, more worser, more worser. I have a loved one that says that a whole lot, and it's like, I feel it. It's like somebody pulled the hair on the back of my neck. It's not more worser. It's not. I promise you that's not correct. Did that feel good coming off your tongue?
Right.
Yeah. And I don't want to be a snob like that, but
I don't either, but come on now.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's the Catholic schooling. It just really bothers me. Mine's is not as bad. It's funny. I feel like that's more funny than anything. Maybe like, let me share mine's. Yep, you might want to keep that to yourself.
Okay, you want to know what else? Liked it.
Yes.
Why?
It's hard to say. Yeah, I liked it. Just, we have a very complicated language. There's no way around that, right?
It is hard, and some words do not make sense, right? And some letters in words are unnecessary. Like the G in lasagna. I don't even understand it.
Yeah, the silent letters, you know, when we adapted it from the other language, why didn't we just get rid of it? You know, make it your own. I mean, the colonizers was good with that, right? Just make it your own.
Mhm.
Couldn't say that with a straight face. I'm sorry.
Mhm.
I'm back. I'm okay.
That's funny. Oh, yes. Misspelled word. The word misspelled is always misspelled wrong.
It is.
Tara said,
Mhm.
oh, Valentine's is correct. It's when they put the M on there. Valentine.
Valentine.
Or candlelight visual.
Isn't it vigil?
Yeah.
Vigil, vigil, vigil.
At one point,
Yeah.
influx in visuals. And I just wanted to be like, I need them to call me so I can do the flyer.
Right.
Because you put it on the flyer.
You ever get a book, like a finished, published book with a lot of grammatical and spelling errors?
Yeah.
Does it turn you off?
Yes.
I don't want to be that way anymore.
Why?
I don't want to be turned off because I feel like it might be a little snobbish.
No.
But I have questions.
No,
I want to know why you did this on your own. That's what I want to know. Because there are a lot of thoughts going on through my head. And not that you know, I'm not saying like valedictorians don't make grammatical errors. It's not about intelligence. I feel like it's more so about, you know, image and professionalism. And everybody does make mistakes, but like when you open page 1 and is that there and there thing and the they are and there and it's all wrong, I'd be like, that's not for today. I just close it and I walk away because I don't want to have to figure out what it is you're trying to say.
Absolutely. I will say this, as a writer, I
feel that way.
As a writer and a published author, I am not a proofreader. See, just because doesn't read and edit, right? I'm not a proofreader.
Yeah.
I'm editing my own stuff all day long because I missed a word. I always miss words because I just get too fast.
I just feel like it's not a good look. And again, I don't want to feel that way. Now I'm saying this for a reason. I don't want to feel that way because it's very easy to judge people, right? And I do feel like when it's us that makes these errors, you know, it feels like it weighs so much heavier. But I'm gonna just go out on here and say this. I don't care who made the error. I don't care what color your skin is. If you are grammatically incorrect, I'm closing it up and that's not for today. But when it is somebody that looks like me, I'm like much harder because I'm like, you just missed. You left money on the table because of this. You were rushing, you were trying to save money. And I don't want to say be cheap unless that is what it was, but I get it, right? I'm a published author as well. It's expensive. And I found an error and it cost me almost $700 to fix it. When they told me that, I was like, that's another book. Can I just get all the ones and like white out it and like type it the correct way? That's a lot of money.
It is.
Like, so, you know, I understand, but I do, and that's why I said I look at it more on a professionalism side. Sometimes we can be rushing. We're trying to cut corners, you know, to get things out. And to me, that's a faith walk also, right? God's timing is gonna be done well, and somebody will pick that up for you. And you know what I'm saying? And it won't cost you $700 to fix it. So, you know, we go on a heavy prayer with this second book. I'm like, hey, Jesus, sit right on next to me because I ain't got enough 700. You know?
Proofread. Tell him to proofread it.
Right. Hey, Jesus. I need your eyes. You know what I'm saying? That's for real.
Yeah.
That's how I talk. You're gonna have to fix it, Jesus. 700 is a lot of money. And that was before I could even sell anything. I know the moment the books arrived, I go through it and I'm reading it to my mom. I'm like, Mom, my book came. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. She's like, what? I found an error. She was like, is that your draft? It absolutely is not. It's 30 copies sitting right here. She was like, oh, it was right. So, you know, and again, in the age of autocorrect and stuff like that, I have caught different softwares correcting things that were already correct. So, you know, just slow down, let a couple eyeballs sit on it.
Yep.
Couple of grammatically correct eyeballs. Right? People who speak as if they have excelled at English 12, and it'll be good.
Yeah. That's all.
It'll be better. I had an English teacher. Actually, she is a professor of many subjects, but she was retired. She was sitting at home and she was like, I could proofread it for you. I was like, thank you, because I don't have another 700. Thank you so much. I still feel that. That was in 2017. Whew, 700 hit hard. But yeah, you know, I don't want to feel, the bottom line is I don't want to gather a judgment when I see these errors in a book, but it does turn me off. I'm like, but I really don't know what you're trying to say here. There are times where I can figure it out, and then there are other times where I'm like, well, that it could be either one, and then I lose interest. It's like ADD or something. Just close the book and put it down. But I want us to do better and stop rushing and think about, you know, branding and image and stuff like that, because it is important.
It is.
Yeah. All right, I'm off my soapbox. That's it.
You're fine.
That's all I got. That's actually a good segue into the whisper.
That's what I was about to say. Well, yeah. I was segue us into the whisper.
Yeah, is go all the way in. Go all the way in. If you're gonna do something, I remember when I was younger, my one of my aunties used to tell me, like, whatever it is that you're doing, you should just fully commit, go all the way in. It was probably some really bad advice too. She was like, if you're gonna do it wrong, like, do it all the way wrong. Like be the best wrongdoer ever.
Yes. Hit all the points.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's about your work ethic.
Like, you better be more better.
Yeah, be more better. Exactly. But yeah, go all the way in. I think a lot of times, even with myself, I've noticed we can be, again, this is a faith walk. And when you understand, you know, if you are a believer in Christ, because I don't want to just say a believer, the devil believe, right? Yeah. If you're a believer, if you're a person of faith, then I feel like a lot of times we don't really understand how much faith is involved in the moves that we make or not make. So there's just been a lot of things revealed to me, you know, when I think about some stuff and I'm like, oh, I talk to my pastor a lot. I know I share that on here, but I talk to her a lot and she'll be like, that's faith. And I'll be like, and then like later on that night, I'd be like, oh snap, I think it was. She's, you know, she might be right. Like, duh, she's right. And not that she's perfect and always right, but she's pretty right. Like, she's got a pretty good track record. We don't really understand. And it's not about fear and anxiety, right? Like, those kind of come later. But when you think about a lot of us, the gifts and the talents, the skills that we have, we really don't do ourselves full service.
We don't.
We're not in the full service.
Talking about this, or was I talking about it with y'all or with other people? I don't remember, but because we talked about being creative last week, right? And we don't, like, even in the replay, I got a message from someone that was like, I'm just not as creative as you, or don't compare yourself to me.
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
And I think
That's a big part.
we need to stop doing that. Right. And like I was at this, so I was about to say I was at church yesterday, but y'all already know I go to church. But this was a particular special service in that it was the pastor's last sermon at this church.
Okay.
And it was the first time. So you know the story of Jacob wrestling the angel.
Absolutely.
Right. So, and you know that song, All Night, All Day?
Maybe.
Okay.
I'll go. Sing a lick.
I don't know the words. I can't sing. If I don't know the words, I don't like singing it. You think Facebook gonna block my video if I start to play it?
But we do not own the rights to this music.
Yep.
All right, so I'm about to play a little bit because it's gonna help. It's gonna help bring this train home.
Got
So here, it said Alvin and the Chipmunks. That is not the song. Hold up. So when I start playing it, you're gonna know. Well, if you in church, you gonna know.
Don't do that.
I mean, like Pentecostal. Oh, wait a minute. Let me go to this. Hold up. But anyway, so Jacob's wrestling the angel, right? And so I have always said on this show that a lot of my understanding of scripture has always, like, I gotta hear a song. Like if I hear a song that is connected to the scripture, it makes the scripture make more sense to me, right?
Okay.
So here we go. All right. So I had turned my volume down because it was okay. Here we go. You hear?
Oh, we gonna have church anyhow.
This is like revival music.
Thank you, Jesus.
Huh? You heard that song?
I know the song.
I wouldn't let go. Okay, so all night I wouldn't give up. All night I wouldn't let go. Right?
Yep.
I have sung this song. I have played this song on heavy rotation during finals, during long soliloquies when I was trying to get my point across in relationships. And we don't go to bed angry. We about to be up all night.
That's hilarious.
Okay.
Yeah.
So basically that scripture for me and how it's always been preached was about like not giving up your prayer.
Okay.
Right? Like you gonna pray till the sun come up. But yesterday I got a whole new, it was just preached in a different way. That was like, it was preached from the place of where you are when trial and when you need to have a conversation and wrestle with whatever it is that you did or whatever it is that you're going through, and you got to have that God is there, right? It was I'm messing it up, but my point
is there a recording you can share? Is there a recorded? Like, is it on? Did they do a live or something?
Yes, I'll pull
share it with us. Yeah.
Yes, I will do that. But my point to all of this is that we are all creative, and I think it was amazing to see the creativity and the personality of the person preaching this very, very,
use scripture, like we know the story of Jacob wrestling with the angel. And let's be clear, Jacob wasn't all that awesome. Like he tricked his brother out of his birthright, and then he was scared. He was wrestling with the angel because he was scared. Because he had to go back home, and his brother was like, yeah, I got 400 men waiting for you. Like the pull-up was real. So my point to that is, like, it just went a little bit deeper for me than that song. And it's just a whole new perspective. Now I'm still play that song and still remember that scripture. But my point is about the expansiveness of we all are creative, right? And you don't have to try to mimic the next person. Just be yourself.
Mm-hmm. I think a lot of times you think if you can't create like with your hands, then you're not a creative. But if you can, there's so much to creativity. Like I've seen and experienced some really creative stuff, curriculums and
yes,
just brainy things, you know what I'm saying? Like really brainy things. And I'm like, oh snap, that was dope. That was so creative.
Yeah.
And so there are so many ways to tap in, and I can relate to, especially if you come from a creative family. I used to compare myself to my mother. My mom has a lot of talents, and I remember being like, I'm just so not creative like that. But it's not true. And it took me a while to, well, maybe not a while, but it took me some time to just accept where my creativity is and just, and really enjoy it. And I'm good with it.
Yenna put the YouTube
Okay, thank you.
link in the comments.
Nice.
She happened to be the one that preached the sermon.
Oh, she said, I know the preacher. Yenna, you're funny.
Montoya in here.
Yeah.
Montoya's personal mission statement is to share my business expertise as well as my personal life experiences to motivate and empower women to persevere. SFC. What does SFC stand for, Montoya?
SF.
SFC. Montoya Baylis is an active guard and reserve soldier.
Sergeant first class.
SFC,
right?
Sergeant first class. I'm not used to this.
I was like, do I have the right bio?
I'm like, what? I'm not used to this. What is that? Yeah.
It's all good.
We gonna charge it to the fact. Listen, Montoya got a 3-year-old at home. It's not time to be remembering acronyms.
And I hate the acronyms. I hate them with a passion because but I always put that in there. People ask me, what is it? And I'll be like, what are you talking about? SF? Because because my mind, I automatically know what it is, but if somebody else saying it back to me, I'm like, what is wrong with them? What are they talking about? So okay.
I never knew. Because I don't know if, little fun fact, I don't know if y'all do this or not, but my first husband lied and said he was a SFC.
I cannot. The lies.
He was just a Mount Vernon safety officer. Oh, Lifetime movie, child. Y'all, I've been through some things. I do not look like what I've been through.
Amen.
But it's a whole Lifetime movie, child. He walking around with a BB gun talking about he was he was a Black Hawk Ranger.
It is mine.
I can't.
Yes. Y'all think I'm lying? I ain't lying.
He wanted to be, so he was.
He said he wanted to be it, so he was.
He tried to sneak it into existence. It did
Name
not
it
work.
and claim it. Name it and claim it.
It did not work. So what he did do, he took that BB gun, y'all, and he robbed drug dealers.
Oh,
Yep. He sure did. And then he moved
he had
out.
faith. He had a lot of faith.
He did.
Maybe that was his name, like the name he went by. Like, I'm sorry. Know his.
And then and then he was doing that in New York. Then he came down here and perpetuated the lie until
because you got to keep it going. I mean, you can't just stop.
Right. Until, I had a praying mother who hired a private investigator.
Oh,
Went hard. And said, here are the facts. So anyway, long to the short. But then after it all came out, he's still going up to like the American Legions in the area with a uniform that he got off of eBay.
I was gonna say the thrift store.
It had SFC last name. If you know who I'm talking about, you know the last name. I'm not gonna say it because I don't want to get sued, but the truth will set you free. Defamation, unless I say his name.
With that story.
There's
a lot wrong with that story.
It's the truth. I'm trying to tell y'all.
I believe you. I'm just saying, like, if that was presented to me in my office as a clinician, I'd be like, oh, okay.
Somebody go pick him up, right?
So we did wind up in the clinician's office. Mika, and do that face again, because that's exactly what the therapist said.
Because a lot had to happen to end up at that story. Like a lot.
Yes, a lot.
To end up at that story.
I didn't even write that story yet. That story is still being written, child.
Hey, what I tell y'all my auntie said, like, go all the way in. If you're gonna do it, do it all the way.
Now, that's creative. That's creative.
That is creative. A lot of faith. I mean, even all the tenets of our show tonight, right? Like, hey,
this is hilarious. So enough about that life. That's my former life.
Thank you, Jesus, for former.
In my Sophia voice, this is how I know God is real.
And then, the scripture says
through that, and testimony.
Yeah.
Okay, real talk. And then I'm done. I'm gonna interview Montoya. But when I first sang that song, that was the very first solo that I did at my church, Faith. And this elder at my church said, "You sang it with such conviction, child."
Absolutely.
I lived it.
And I really have a testimony.
Yeah.
Like,
I feel like that is one of those songs where you can't sing it unless you have a testimony.
Unless you have one. When I look back over my life, like,
just your ladder will be greater.
It's gotta be.
Yeah, you just repeat that.
Yeah.
Over and over again. Just
Montoya, you wrote a book. You're in a book, Behind the Rank, Volume 5. Ooh. 22 years as an active guard and reserve soldier. Mother of 3. You live in the South
Mississippi.
Tell us a little bit about yourself in your own words.
Tell what now? I think
tell us a little. Tell us a little bit about yourself in your own words.
Well, the military was a career that I just happened upon because all my family was in. I was like, I'm gonna join the military. I wanted it to get out, get a little money, because my mom is, as I was growing up, she was losing her sight to eye disease. And, I was like, I'm going to be the one that, help her out, take care of her. And that still holds true today. So I think I fulfilled that purpose for her, helped her out. So I joined, I was in ROTC in school. So that's why I joined. I had all the family in, and I mean, we all deployed together, and it was just a big family affair. You might as well say I had my uncles, my dad, cousins, friends from school. We all joined at the same time. We deployed overseas together to Iraq in 03, 04. And it was nice. I mean, not nice over in Iraq. I'm talking about the military in general. At that time, it was, until all that conflict started. Like I said, I've been in 22 years, about to retire. I'm up for right now I'm going through a medical evaluation board. So I know that it will probably lead me to retirement. So I'm okay with that now. I want to try something different. That's why I submitted my chapter. Matter of fact, it was a funny story there, how I saw the link and the everything. I was in this group called Combat Boots to Red Bottoms. I was trying to get my business started, my tax business. It was during COVID. Matter of fact, I was about a year in after having my daughter, because I had my daughter during COVID. And then after that year, that following year, COVID's still going on. I'm still at home trying to navigate teleworking and not teleworking. And it was like, no, we don't want you to telework. You can't telework, because I couldn't cook up at home. And it was a whole lot of things going on. And we were just at home. I was at home with the kids. And so I saw it on that website, and I was like, I've been thinking about trying to tell my story for a long time now, the story in the book. And I was like, I shouldn't tell it. Because the only time that I've ever written the story down, like the events of that night, was in the police report. I never really told anybody, just sat down and told everybody, like, this was what actually happened. It was just like big bits and pieces as they needed to know them. Like if something come up, I was like, oh, this is because this right here, this happening. And everybody was like, okay, nobody never really pressured me to tell the story. And the only other person I ever told was my therapist, of course. So they had to get the full deal. And that took a while to tell them. So I was like, I'm ready. And I was like, I'm ready to tell the story. And then I saw that, I was like, oh no, I'm not ready. And then it was like, what are you talking? I had this internal conflict in my head, like, I'm ready. Nah, I'm not ready. And then when I finally decided I was ready, I went to go find the link again. I couldn't find it, scrolling through Facebook. I was typing in, I couldn't find it. And then I remembered her name, Layla Holly. And I was like, let me look her up. Let me find her. And I found her on LinkedIn. And then I saw the little, the post about, being a part of Behind the Rank 5. And I was like, yeah, it's my time. I'm gonna write my story. And I was telling my husband, he was like, you gonna write it? You ready to write it? I was like, yeah, I'm gonna write it. And he's like, sure you're gonna write it? Because you know how you do. You'll start something, you'll pay for it, and you be like, no, I don't want to do it. And then you'll hurry up and do it at the end. So I was like, I'm gonna do it. So I did it. And I mean, it was really therapeutic for me, because it just let me get it all out there from all the naysayers and people that had their opinion about what actually happened that night, how everything went down. I mean, I guess I started from the beginning kind of, and just moved on into that night. And that night in question I'm talking about is it was a domestic violence incident, and I came out as a survivor. And I'm just glad I told it, because I had a lot of people that needed to hear it. I mean, a lot of people need to hear it, especially in the military, because that happens a lot in the military. And I just want people to see that, what am I trying to say? I want to see that some people look like they have it all together, and they don't. I mean, you really don't know their internal conflicts. Mm-hmm. And so I want to just, share and put it out there, and just let everybody know that I made it, and you can make it too. So,
I think that is so important when we can make sure that our story, that we have voice in our story, right?
yeah.
So because someone else telling your story is not going to be the story that needs to be shared, right? But when you can own
Mhm.
your story, like we were just laughing a few minutes ago, but me
Mhm.
taking ownership of my story and not being shameful that, about my first marriage and all of that, like that is powering. And when I first started telling that story, child, you'd be surprised how many people were married to people that they thought they knew, right?
Yeah.
Like I wasn't I
Mhm.
realized in telling my story, I was not the only one that
Yes.
survived this. Like it was a Lifetime movie. like
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I keep telling my friends, I was like, I mean, and some of my soldiers that come in, they have their problems and stuff like that. I was like, well, let me tell you about this. I mean, so because they always feel like, oh, it's weighing me down, it's this and that. I was like, no. I mean, you can make it, you can overcome this. Listen to somebody that had everything in the world going on for them from, almost day one. I like to say, my mom, she's been disabled for years. I mean, I can't remember. I just remember the progression of the disease, and I didn't know anything else, I then I want to tell it. I want everybody to see it, because I got tired of people telling the story of how it happened. Oh, this is how it must have happened, because he would never do that to her. She lied to the police. This is not, I mean, no, my story is the same as it was the night it happened. There has not been a deviation from the story. There never will be a deviation from the story, because when I tell it, I see it in my head. So, I mean, as I say, I want to tell it for, I want to tell it for the naysayers as well as the people that could learn something from it or understand something from it. But I wanted the naysayers and the ones that doubted what happened that night, I want them to really know what happened that night. I want them to see, because a lot of people, they still uphold my ex-husband and stuff, and probably uphold him, his family in some high regard. But I want them to know exactly what happened, because it wasn't just him, it was his family as well. And I just felt like people should know, who they're dealing with and what they're dealing with. I mean, the truth shall set you free. And I feel like, all these years, they've been kind of, hiding behind it, because I never said anything, because I felt like, it was on a need to know basis. But now I feel like everybody needs to know. So, it's in a book now, so everybody knows. So, and I'm glad that they do. And a lot of people have come up to me and said that, they knew someone that went through domestic violence, or they did, and we share stories. Right. They talk to me, tell me their stories, and I listen. And, we compare and we talk about what love really was, what it is, and why they stayed, So, yeah, I think that was important.
Was it just that one time, or was it building up? Were you abused all the time in your marriage, or was it?
At first he tried to do the mental abuse, trying to put me down, saying I wasn't doing this, I was doing that. But like I said, I was a strong-willed person anyway. And I was like, who you talking to? No, that's not right. I'm not listening to you. And it was just it was a constant thing. He tried that. At first, it was the mental deal. We probably got into a push and scuffle or something like that, but nothing really like, I'm gonna beat up on you. It was nothing like that. And most of it stayed pretty mental, and it was always, then it got to, oh, you're cheating on me. what are you doing? You did this, and then it kind of got to, he moved on to the jealousy phase. And I wouldn't, I say jealousy, but it was really, he was really envious of me in my military career, because I was an AGR soldier. I was full-time guard. So I wore the uniform every day, active duty. I was there all the time. I basically ran the unit that we were in. I was key holder, the maintenance person. I was everything in that building. And he was a regular drilling soldier, M-Day soldier, and we all were friends in the guard. We all knew each other, and people would be like, your wife outranks you. She wearing the rank that you should be wearing. Or you and her have the same specialty. Y'all went to school for the same thing, but she's not even doing mechanic work. She's in the, they were just picking and messing. I mean, because soldiers in the guard, they like to pick and mess. Yeah, if they can, get you riled up and stuff like that, and start some ruckus or whatever. And they do that all the time. I mean, they call themselves poking fun, but I saw where it was going with him. Then it was always, oh, you got to go here. How long are you gonna be gone? You're gonna be gone for 2 weeks here. Who you going with? And then it was my supervisors. Oh, you're with them. I mean, it just kept progressing. I mean, he even tried to attack one of them at the camp before. A few days before this happened, before he went home, he tried to attack one of my supervisors. And it just, and I mean, the signs were there, but we had divorced and we were trying to get back together. That time we divorced for like a year and a half. I went, moved out, did my own thing, whatever. Then he came to me and was like, I want to try it again. And the main reason we divorced the first time, that time, because we never got remarried. Well, the main reason we divorced was his parents. They were always, trying to. They wanted me to be reliant on them for everything. Like a daughter and stuff like. But like me, I'm kind of outspoken and independent type person. I'm like, I already got a mom and dad. You all not my mom and dad. You don't, stay in your place. And, and they got to the point where I was like, you know what? I mean, if it's either going to be your mom and your dad or me. Yeah. And he couldn't seem to figure out what to do. So I was like, well, I figured out for you. You need to get a divorce. We end this. And so we ended it. And I mean, we had been together. We got together when we came from overseas. And we had been together a total of 5 years, I think, before we got divorced. I mean, before we divorced, so we was only married for probably a year and a half, but we had been together 5 years. Then we got divorced, got back together. He was like, I'm gonna do better. I'm not giving my parents and all. I mean, he did that, and mainly he did that because he stayed on the road. Oh. I mean, I helped him get on the road, driving trucks. I mean, I did the taxes, I did the paperwork. I mean, he would get one job after another. Each job was more money. I mean, it got to the point where he was making a couple thousand a month, but then he wanted to go spin. He wanted to flashy cars, all this. And I'm like, no, save your money, save this, do that. I'm like, you're not here to drive them anyway. You're going like three weeks out of the month. So why buy something like that? And then it was a stick and I couldn't drive it. So it was just, I mean, it was a lot. He tried it and he kept trying to do like I said, the minimum thing didn't work. And I don't know, even know why he tried it, because I guess somebody must have told me, you can break her down, but she'll do what you want her to do. But I was never that type. And so I guess that night after he tried to attack one of my supervisors, I told him, I said, well, we gave it a shot. It's not going to work again. I'm moving out, this weekend. We get back home, I'm gone. And I guess that kind of triggered something in him. Was like, she's not leaving me. and he got drunk that night. Matter of fact, he went to a family reunion, and I decided not to go because his parents, for obvious reasons. But I told him, I was staying at home. I was gonna get my stuff together, get out, and I was still there. They came back down. He's like, "We're gonna come down, play cards." They came down, play cards, and then it started up again. What you been doing with this one? You been with that one? No. I'm like, okay, dude. I mean, you drunk? Go to bed. And that's when he just decided he was gonna attack me that night. So, he I mean, the mental stuff, he tried it. I mean, that right there was, I mean, I would have never thought he'd take it that far. I mean, but I guess when you've been, when you've been drinking is kind of truth serum. So your real feelings and stuff start coming out. I think when you drink and people start doing things that they don't normally do when they're drunk, or things that they wanted to do while they were sober, right, and they do it when they get drunk. So yeah, he tried that, and that's how that ended up. He went from one spectrum, he went from one end of the spectrum all the way to I'm just going to beat her up and make her safe. So.
Wow. Well, you know what? You are a survivor. And so what would you offer? What's the one piece of advice you would offer to someone that might be hearing this and listening and in the same situation? Like maybe they have not been hit yet, but that they're going through the emotional and verbal abuse.
Okay, well, I'm gonna go back. I got a story behind that. When I was in probably like 7th, 8th grade, my aunt them had this picture on the wall. It was of 1 Corinthians 13, 4-8, about what love is. Love is not boastful, love is not proud, all that. Love is not envy, love is not envy. I read that because I thought about it when I, went back, and I was like, oh, I saw that somewhere before. Where I've seen that poem before. I called it a poem. Then I like, and then I was like, that's not just a poem. When I was young, and I saw it again when I got older, and I was like, oh, I need that. So I even put that in our house when we were married, because I bought one, and then it fell some kind of way. It fell off the wall or whatever. And the frame broke, and I was like, I gotta get another frame for that, and I never did hang it back up. So I mean, what I would tell him is read that, because when I went back to write my story, and I was like, what was that I hung on the wall? I was like, I mean, that was first. I said, let me go back and read it again. I said, and every time I talk to somebody about it, I was like, read that, because that's what love is. I mean, that's our definition. I mean, what we need to be going by when we look for someone to spend the rest of our life with. If they don't have these qualities, then it's a no. Don't even waste your time, because it's not right.
That's right. Mm-hmm. I like to say that I'm glad that you took the opportunity, and even though you were uncomfortable, and uncertain, you called yourself out, right? You said you had your husband helped you do that too. Like, you sure you're gonna do it? The shame that is involved with victims of domestic violence, like she was even saying, people like, oh, well, she must have did this because he would never do that, right? That reasoning thing is awful. We still do it, and people that right, like people that are close to you even will ask you, well, what did you do?
That doubt.
You right. and it'll have you thinking, what did I do? And there is nothing I want to be clear, there is nothing we do that makes it okay to be hit on. It's just that simple. Right? It's a point blank period. It's just that simple. So the fact that and not only did you tell your story, but to publish your story, and there's also the military piece as well. It's
Mhm.
I'm glad, you got to tell us the name of the book so that I would like to share it, because there are a lot of victims, mostly women victims, right?
Yeah.
I work with
Mhm.
victims of domestic violence, and obviously, yes, there are men victims as well. Um, but the guilt and shame, the patriarchal society that we live in will still blame the woman somehow. We are
Mhm.
to blame, when our marriages don't work out, is, well, what did you do and what didn't you do, right? It's always our fault
Mhm.
somehow or another, and it doesn't feel good. And I think understanding how society looks at different things, we stay longer than we should stay. We breeze over these signals, these smoke signals, these flags, like, hey
Mhm.
girl, don't
Yeah,
go
that's
in
what.
there,
Yeah.
don't do it.
Yeah.
And we start second guessing ourselves. A lot of times it's because we are playing in what other people are saying, feeling, thinking, and it's not right sometimes. Even our own parents, right? Like they do it
Mhm.
too. Well, I
Yeah.
told you not to marry him in the first place.
Yeah.
How's that
Mhm.
helpful right
Yeah.
now? Like
Mhm.
right now, I just told you, he popped me upside my head, and you said to me, well, I told you not to marry him anyway. So we keep our mouths shut longer than we need to. We're not sharing it. And it's, and a lot of times we stay quiet. When we stay quiet, it it empowers them to continue, right? They feel like they
Mhm.
won because you haven't said anything, and so they'll continue, right? They'll keep doing it.
Yeah.
And so it's I'm glad that you are sharing it, and what you said was, so people will know who they're dealing with. And
Yes.
that is important,
Mhm.
so people will know. At least, you'd be like, well, you can't never say that I didn't tell you.
Right.
It was out
Mhm.
there. So,
Because people often wonder why, how did someone keep abusing? Because it
mhm,
won't, and people always wonder that. Well, like, how did he? I just saw, I think on the Shade Room or something,
mhm,
where this grandfather just got sentenced to life in prison, right? The granddaughter
Mhm.
reported him for molesting her.
mhm,
The mother said he did it to her.
mhm.
And then
Oh,
like all of these other families
relatives.
came out. And I'm like,
Yep.
because we stay mute.
Yeah.
He was
Mhm.
allowed to be a predator in his own family for 50 years because no one said anything.
And a lot of that in our
Sad.
community and our, within our race and our culture, that happened because it was a part of it, I'll say, right? It was happening because the punishment for the crimes that we committed just was never, justified, right? Like, it was
Mhm.
always worse. However, our community dealt with the perpetrator too, right? Like, he or she, usually he,
Mhm.
didn't just get off. Yeah, you may have avoided being lynched or whatever with the white police, but your community dealt with you. And like, they reckoned you.
Mhm.
We lost that part of the narrative and we just want to, protect. Um that's not protection though, right? It's not protection.
Mhm.
And when I hear things like protect our black men, and I'm going at the cost of our black
Mhm.
women,
Yeah.
right? Because that's usually what happens. So I'm always asking, at what cost? If
Yeah.
if you did it and there's proof that
Yeah.
you did it, then you did it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You did it. And
I
for
mean,
me, I'm empathetic and I'm sympathetic, but I'm always going, there's a victim in this. And so what do they get out of it?
yeah, that's what I mean, I went through that because I was like, okay, I even went through that, shame to say, I went through that with the police department.
I'm
Um,
sure you did.
because we I went in, I mean, I couldn't get anyone. I mean, no one was never there. I come in, I need to talk to so-and-so. Oh, he's out for the day. Okay, I'll be back tomorrow. Oh, he had to step out here. Oh, he had to go there. My victim's rights were violated. I think he may have spent maybe 3 days in jail. And then he was out, and I didn't even know anything about it. I'm getting calls from my friends like, I see his car, and he drove this yellow car. And they like, his car drive. I was like, his brother probably got his car. Ain't no way he's out, because the sheriff told me they wasn't gonna let him out on 10%. He was gonna have to pay the full price. And I was like, no. And then I called, and then I got to run around on the phone. Then all of a sudden the detective came on. He was like, well, yes, he was released earlier today. I said, so you all don't notify anyone,
Right.
released? I had to call and figure this out. And I was like, yeah. And I mean, I did the day at the hospital. I mean, when I first went in, I drove myself to the hospital. After he passed out, I jumped in the car, drove myself to the hospital. And the first thing I did was stop at the armory where I worked and got some shoes. I didn't even have my shoes on. And I looked at myself and I was like, because I didn't feel like I looked.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess all the adrenaline was running. I was like, I gotta go to the hospital. And, and I was like, people looking at the pictures, and I'm like, okay, so we see the pictures right here. You even see me walking around sometime, probably in the town or whatever, because I gotta go to the store. I still gotta go do stuff. I gotta go to the court and stuff. And you see me, so I guess I beat myself up, and I couldn't give my, I couldn't wrap my mind around it. I mean, I stayed messed up on that for a while. I was like, okay, so why everybody like, what did she do? Oh, she had to have said something to him, make him. And he never does that. I mean, but it was building and building. And my supervisor, my military family that I work with full time, they saw it and it was like, what is wrong with him? I was like, shit. I mean, don't you mind him? He just, acting crazy. He called, what are you doing? Who are you with? And stuff like that. And I mean, I just couldn't see how nobody, I mean, I don't see how they couldn't wrap their mind around he did it. And even when he got the conviction, he did it. Everybody was, they were all like, oh, he didn't. I just don't see how she won that. I mean, it was more to it. I mean, there was a rape charge that was dropped because of the police department didn't submit the rape kit. They told me that it was consensual. He said it was. I was like, so did you all see me that day? I mean, what, did you, I mean, so that was consensual, but I mean, I was tired, and I had a really good lawyer. Had it happen. I mean, I met a female. I wanted a female lawyer. I looked for a female lawyer, and I found a female lawyer. And how it happened, her husband was military as well, and I mean, it just worked out. I mean, it was the Lord that found him, because I was like, I got to find me a female, and a lot of people wouldn't. Some people wouldn't take the case, and I was like, because they knew his father and stuff, because he was a pastor and in the community and stuff. Like, I mean, it was just it was dead end after dead end, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna find someone. So I just started searching. I got on the website and searched. I'm like, they need to be close by, because I need somebody right here so I can go talk to them. And how happened, I found her, and then she's like, my husband, he's in the military. And I was like, oh, so they feel my plight. They understand, you know what I'm saying? And I finally found somebody, understood, and she got me there. She told me, she's like, we're gonna settle this. We want to settle fast and quick. We're not gonna wait. Wherever the judge goes, that's where we going. If he's having court in another county, we're going over there for the next session. We're not gonna wait till you come back to this county. We're gonna keep following him around until you get this solved. And I mean, we won. I mean, I guess you can call it a win. I still don't know what to call it, but he was out on papers. So I mean, he never really served in jail time after 3 days, but he's got a felony charge on his name. And I always think back, what if what if I wasn't here? I'm like, how they probably would have covered it up, and it would have been swept up under the rug, and nobody would have thought anything about it.
Right.
And I just wanted to, I had to put it in the book. I had to, because my friend that I used to work with, her sister was shot by her boyfriend. Broad daylight, in the convenience store. She was running from him. She found the officer in the store, was running, trying to tell the officer. He came in the store behind her, shot her, and the officer shot him. And there had been something that had been going on for a minute with them. And her sister's like, I've been telling her to leave, and she didn't. And the time when she was trying to leave, she wasn't there, and that tore her up. So, I had to tell my story.
I'm glad you did.
I'm so glad you did. So where can people get the book, Montoya? And then you're going to have to come back and talk about the taxes. But if you could just give us, because I know the accounting
Yeah, I got on my shirt. I got on my shirt.
Yeah, tell us how to get the book. And then I know after your military career is over, financial literacy is a passion of yours. And if you could talk quickly, I don't want to do it injustice by saying quickly, but I do want to respect people's time. But I know you had an end of the season kickoff that you wanted to share tonight. So if you could share a little bit about that as well.
Well, first, to get the book, you go to my website at the piggybanktaxllc.com, or you go to my Facebook page. It has this little picture. I don't know if you can see my shirt. This picture with at Piggy Bank Tax Notary, or you can just type the Piggy Bank Tax Notary in, and it'll pull me up, or type my name. It should pull up that page as well. My end of season, 10% discounts for the end of the season, giving 10% discounts to anyone that wants to do their taxes. It's a virtual business, so I got my website, piggybank taxllc.com. So if you go on there, it has a link that says start my taxes. So you can fill out all your information on there. I'll see it and get back with you, see if there's anything else that we might need to put in. So yeah, that's what I plan on doing, a little bit of everything. Probably when I get out of the military, just trying to figure out my little niche once my life without the Army. So, but I like taxes, so.
So Amanda Nicole Grace Williams, is that someone that you know, Montoya?
Yes, Amanda.
So she probably already has your book, huh?
Yeah, did she get a book yet? I don't know.
Amanda, if you're still watching, do you have her book? Because if you don't, we're going to send you a copy of the book. So if she's still watching, and she can respond after the show or within the next 24 hours, and we'll get that address to you, Montoya, so you can mail a book to her.
Okay.
I'm putting your contact information in the chat, and I'm gonna just shout out a few people for thank you for watching. Thank you, Lawan, for watching. Yenna, Tara, Carlisha. Oh, Carlisha's in the building. Amanda, thank you for watching. Brian, Mike Rose will be our special guest in 2 weeks when we come back. So I got a speaking engagement next Monday, so we won't have a show next Monday.
Amanda said not yet.
She doesn't have the book. Okay, Amanda, inbox me with your address, or inbox Montoya, and you get a copy of the book. Put the book up on the camera, Montoya.
Oh.
She said don't send one. She said I'm a bad friend, but don't send one. I'm gonna go by her house.
Oh, she already knows. That's even better. Awesome. So I thank you for coming on tonight, Mika, as always.
Thank you for coming on. Mika, shout out. Tell the good people of the Share with Shani show about your Instagram of your IG show that's coming back.
Ethereal people
on Sunday.
Back the last Sunday of this month, and we're gonna be getting some more youth, some more younger people. I don't feel old, Shani, but I this is my last year of being able to be called a young adult according to the church. So
what?
Yeah, I'm about to graduate from the young adult phase. So
I don't think you ever graduate because the people at my church think I'm a millennial. So
yeah, well, I mean, technically, I am a millennial.
Well, I am a Generation X.
Okay,
I hardly know.
I want to be able to. I remember what it was like, being in high school, trying to figure out things, graduating high school. There's a lot going on in the world politically. There's a lot going on in the world in general, and they have feelings about it. They have not just opinions, they have emotions about it, but they don't. I feel like adults of a certain age don't really take it seriously. Do y'all remember? I don't know, maybe it was just the way I grew up, but when a kid was tired, my dad hates when I say kid, when a child was tired and an older person asks you like, what's wrong with you? And you're like, oh, I'm just tired. You too young to be tired.
You too young to be tired. You too young to have a bad day.
Everything.
You too young to be mad. You too young. Yeah, you don't pay no bills in this house. Why you mad for? Why your face? I didn't heard it all.
All of that. And I never ever understood it. I actually would always challenge it. I didn't know what that meant. I would be like, I'm sorry, what? So I just want to use, the opportunity and the platform to allow them to be able to vent, to share, but to share their wisdom, because young people, we're always saying like they're the future, but there's no respect. We say that, but I do feel like we don't show them that. We don't invest in them a lot. Youth programs and activities are the first to be pulled, when there's budget cuts. Youth are the first to be rescheduled, when there's a scheduling snafu at anywhere, the church, at the school, at the county, whatever. It's like, oh, just reschedule the kids and they'll be okay. And oh, they're so resilient. It's like all these things, they get overlooked, they get stepped on, and they get ignored. And
you want to know the biggest thing too, though? When it comes to, especially in the church, they're the last people at the seat at the table.
Yes.
That people that are not youth will plan a youth event, expect the youth to come and support, and they get mad when the youth don't come. Sure. And they say, but we did this for you, but you didn't ask them.
You didn't include them, right?
I want it.
Or at least include them. Because I do believe, they can say no, they don't want it, but you're going to get this. This is your blessing, but I'm going to include you. They don't always know what they need. They may not want it. They don't always know what they need, but absolutely include them. And that's the whole thing. There's a lot of, again, they got attitude. There's a story behind that. And a lot of times no one is listening to understand, because they too busy telling them, you too young to feel that way. I still don't understand what that means, where that came from. I think it's a cop out, and I think it is a way of a defense mechanism, and a way of saying I have forgotten my own journey, so much so that I can no longer relate to what is happening to you right now.
Right. I have this
whole nothing new under the sun. Probably in theory, but I will say a lot of us cannot recall a time, right, when we went through a pandemic and had to be virtual schooled and couldn't go in the grocery store, couldn't go see our loved ones while they were dying. I couldn't hug my grandmother and all of this other stuff. So it's a lot going on for them. It's a lot going on for everybody. People ask me how I'm doing. They have not asked my 8-year-old how she's doing. So
Me too.
yeah.
Well,
So,
I always I knew that the generation was shifting when I had my son. My son's about to be 25 in May, and he was probably about 2 or 3, and we were at breakfast with some extended family, and I asked Roderick if he wanted sausage or bacon, and I heard an elder at the table
yes, was it?
turn to my
Yeah,
mother.
you asking him?
Turn to my
What do you
mother.
want?
Oh, the new parents are asking. They're asking the child what they want to eat. Yes, because I'm about to pay $11.99 for this daggone.
Oh, make sure he eats it.
Yeah.
What if he don't like sausage? Now I got a really angry 3-year-old sitting at the table hungry, and then y'all gonna be mad that he's embarrassing.
He acting up.
According to them, that means you ain't do it right. Because he don't have a choice, and he gonna like whatever
No,
you
you
give
have
him.
a choice. Yes, no, you have a choice. Because I did not like okra, and I refuse.
Yes, I don't eat
Refuse
it either.
to make my kids suffer through that slimy daggone vegetable, unless it's in gumbo.
No.
That was me with carrots, though. I would get punished for not eating my carrots, and I would be like, "Oh wow,
Okay,
I guess I'll just
first
be
of all,
in
they told me if I eat my carrots, it would help me see. I've been wearing glasses since I was 18. Explain that one.
Yeah, some other pieces to that, but yeah.
Did I sound angry? Let me calm down. I was just like a little mad. Because again,
I feel like I triggered that for you, and I apologize.
She went on.
It was definitely a trigger. And then had to pull the carrots out the ground because my grandmother had a garden. Yeah. And I don't like to do any type of gardening, anything. And why do we have an urban garden at my church?
Because it's necessary.
It is necessary, but I don't want to work it. And I feel bad.
I'm gonna change your mind.
I feel so bad that I showed up at the church. I feel convicted. I showed up to the church on Urban Garden Saturday with not any garden clothes on.
There's no connection. There's no positive connection for you and that yet, but I'm gonna change your mind on that. I promise.
I mean, no, but there is something spiritual about growing things.
Absolutely.
I get all that, Mika. But
Speaking of, we have myself and Jennifer Lumpkin. She lives in Ohio. She is a master gardener. We have a course coming up, and it's called Inheritance, right? Inheritance.
Okay.
Growing is your inheritance.
Oh, I love that.
And there's a lot of connection. There's a spiritual connection. There's a soul connection. It's for a reason. We talk about the creator and creation, but also, on the other side of that, understanding when y'all go in the grocery stores and it look like the grocery stores need to go grocery shopping.
Yeah, come on.
Y'all better come on in here and stop talking about what you don't like when you can't find no food and you can't grow your food.
I mean, this is definitely all
So
to share with. Thank you, Montoya Baylis, for coming on tonight. I hope that you can come on again. I hope you had fun.
Montoya looks like a baby, by the way.
I want this to come.
Not everybody.
Because Shani said 22, 23 years in the military, and I know you can go in early, but even if you started at 16,
I got in at 17.
She looks 16.
Yes, right.
I had people argue me down. You haven't been in 20. You haven't been in over 20 years. I'm like, yes, I have been in over 20 years.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for telling me my life. I appreciate that. Thank you. Very much.
The Sharing with Shani show highlights ordinary people working for an extraordinary God, sharing love, light, and life. Check the reference in Ephesians 5. We living in light and we walking in love.
I love it.
That's what he said.
That was different. Yes.
That's what he says on the song.
One day you are gonna have to share the lyrics of the intro.
I will do that. I should have like I should bring them on. They probably blowing up now, working for like bigger and better people.
That'd be dope.
Ben Avs and Amos are the co-writers. I have writer credit because, but you want to know what'd
you write? You'll be right. Don't be till you did it.
Y'all ready for it?
The song.
You ready for it? Check the reference in Ephesians.
She like executive producer. That's my line. That's my beat. Turn it up. Executive producer.
That's when I checked the reference in Ephesians. And then but it was actually check the reference in Ephesians. And then I had this epiphany. I was on the train coming from a speaking engagement from Richmond, which is, I mean, granted, I didn't have to sit in traffic, but that chug-a-lug from Richmond to DC is the worst. Takes 3 hours by train.
I've heard that. Yeah, it's a lot of
Because
stops,
they
right?
go because after DC, right? So from what's the top tip state? Maine?
Vermont?
It's not Maine? Maine not above Vermont?
I don't know.
Okay. Geography time. Hello. Okay, from Maine to, well, I was west last week. That's a whole nother story. Maine to DC is all diesel. No. I can't remember. Electric, automated. I don't know. But then they switch because all those small southern state stops, they didn't turn. It's electric, so they didn't change their tracks.
Oh,
okay. So they changed the fuel over to diesel fuel. So that's why it takes 59 hours to get to Georgia on the train. I'm exaggerating, but that's what it feels like, because it stops at every small little town. It takes 3 hours to get to Richmond. Anyway, I had this epiphany coming home from a speaking engagement on the Amtrak from Richmond. And I called the producer and I'm like, we're walking in love and we're living in the light. Can you put that in the song? I was so excited. Mind y'all, I was in a quiet car. So that was kind of like, they were not having it. If you want to get bright ideas and get excited, don't be in a quiet car.
Yeah.
Thank you all for watching. Oh my goodness. Thank you all for watching. I love you. We will be back in 2 weeks, April the 4th.
Okay.
Y'all know what April the 4th is?
I know that's like Beyonce's anniversary. But
it is Beyonce's Beyonce's anniversary. And it's the next time the Shani share what Shani show airs. And I think didn't Martin Luther King get assassinated?
That's a date I don't know. I don't like memorizing those kind of dates. You know what I'm saying? But you're the history buff, so that's your ministry.
I love y'all. Thank you for watching.
Peace.
Peace.